Although Berlin was divided by a wall and barbed wire for decades, few signs of this division remain. Some parts of the original wall are still intact, but one of the few visible traces of the communist regime are the streetlights. Like many East German products, the Ampelmännchen, or Little Green Traffic Man, was replaced shortly after the fall of the wall, much to the disappointment of many Easterners. In contrast to its Western counterpart, the Eastern version of the Traffic Man had a wide-brimmed head and was not as tall as its Western copy.
Man hat zunächst das Westampelmännchen eher auch im Ostteil der Stadt.
At first, the West pedestrian traffic light was also used in the eastern part of the city for the construction of new traffic lights. But then it was found that the luminosity of the East Ampelmännchen is clearly stronger. In fog, in rain, in winter, in darkness, you can see it much better. And since 2007, the Ampelmännchen has also been used in the western part of the city for all traffic lights.
The Jolly Feller quickly became an iconic feature of Berlin's street scene, featured on many of Berlin's tourist gadgets, such as tote bags, keychains, and candy. In today's Berlin, one can still see how separate the public transport systems of the former BRD and DDR were from one another.
Na klar ist, dass zwei völlig unterschiedliche Systeme.
Of course, two completely different systems lived side by side until 1989, after reunification. But of course, the structural elements still partly consist of the DDR period and the West Berlin period, and now are gradually being retrofitted. Everything new is being built according to uniform standards. What was there before was built and developed very differently, and as a result, there are still a few lamps, for example, more from the eastern part and typically West Berlin lamps. But little by little it is disappearing, and I think in 20 or 30 years you won't be able to tell.
Berlin's streetlights exemplify the city's former division, which becomes clearly visible when zooming out. Even from space, it is clear that streetlights in the west appear yellow, while in East Berlin they shine more orange. This divide was documented by astronauts of the International Space Station. Another visible landmark on which signs of the former divide remain is the so-called Bridge of the Spies. The Glienicke Bridge, connecting West Berlin to Potsdam in East Germany, was notorious as the exchange location for foreign agents. Whenever maintenance work had to be done, both sides were never able to come to an agreement. Paint was applied differently and faded differently, so in the middle of the bridge 2 different shades of green are still clearly visible today.